Hi, Darren here from Pro Tile and Training. So today what we're going to do is looking at fixing mosaics. So I've taught thousands of people over the years, and a lot of people come back, and one of the biggest questions is literally like sort of how do I fix mosaic sheets with them all being individual tiles and on a mesh. So it's quite easy to fix sort of actual full tiles. So I've got another video on that, but sort of mosaics can be a little bit problematic, but with this method here, it's going to be dead easy to get flat. So let's get straight into it and how you actually fix them. So I've just set up a little sort of level here just to give you an idea of how this would like sort of be actually fixed on the wall. So this could be your kitchen like sort of workbench, and we're going to tile straight from the workbench up here. So the first thing we need to do is use a powdered adhesive. So we'll have like a tub adhesive which is already mixed. I don't suggest you use that stuff, and we'll have like sort of a cement adhesive or a thin set which is mixed up with water from a powder into a consistency of like a sort of like a paste. So with thin sets and adhesives, you tend to get like sort of different colors, and you get a dark gray, which is not really good for like sort of mosaics, and we'll have like a sort of a white adhesive. So really the best is the lighter shades, because with a mosaic like this, a mosaic is actually clear glass on the top, and it's the actual backing of the mosaic that they put on the back of the glass which makes it look the color. So if you can get it like sort of maybe it's a close-up look at this, you'll see that this sort of mottled shade here is just a film of foil on the back of that glass there, which is going to give it this like look. This particular one's got some stainless steel on as well, so there could be natural stones, it could be anything, but they're just like literally grid sections like that. So how do you get them on the wall? So firstly, we've got a series of different trowels. So in tiling we tend to use a 6mm, an 8mm, a 10mm, 12mm, 20mm, but for mosaic fixings we'll really need something about a 6mm trowel, right? So we're using a light coloured adhesive, and what we're going to do is just load the wall up. So I'm just going to quickly load this wall up, and what you do, just if you don't know how to load the wall up, you're just going to put a 45-degree angle on here, press hard, and you're going to drag that adhesive up the wall. Now it's pretty essential when you're dealing with mosaics that this wall is flat. All right, if it's not flat, you really need to prepare like sort of the walls to make it flat first. Otherwise your mosaics is just going to take the shape of what actually is what's happening to the wall. So there's another video of how to like sort of level walls and stuff like that, so have a look at that one if you don't know how to level a wall. But this wall has already been prepared and it's flat. So again, I'm just going to make sure I put enough adhesive on the wall to cover whatever the mosaic is. So again, just put some more on. So what we can't have with mosaics is these overlaps here, because the adhesive has to be perfectly flat. Otherwise what's going to happen is all the adhesive is actually going to come through the actual joints of the mosaic, and it's going to be really hard for it to like sort of, you know, get in and out with that little sponge to clean it up. So and the reason why, let's put some more on. The reason why you tend to get these like sort of overlaps is when you trowel on the wall, the adhesive is actually falling off the end of this. So all you need to do to stop that happening and getting these overlaps is just take away the excess adhesive from the edges. So when I go over that now, you can see it doesn't fall off. So again, just take away the excess adhesive again from the end there. So it's just in the middle, and then when I go over that again. So you should be able to see how that wall is like literally perfectly flat. Now, and that rib is unblemished, there's no overlaps of like thick bits. Right, so what we need to do whenever we're troweling from like a kitchen bench or a batten, there's this buildup of adhesive that is on the bottom of this batten. So all I'm going to do here is just use the edge of that trowel there just to run that across there like that. So what that does, it just takes the adhesive away, it stops the mosaic from actually sticking to the actual like sort of batten. So when you get these like sort of mosaics, don't try and hold them from the bottom because they're just going to fall over the place. So what we tend to do is hold them from the top, and we're just going to sit them on that adhesive there like that, and just gently touch them against the wall like that. Right, so it's just a gentle touch. That's enough to stick them against the wall. So what we're going to do now is we're going to get a grout float, and what we're going to do, we're going to pad these down. So all you do here is you're just padding them down like that. So that means that they're all bedded in flat. What you don't want to do is, where most people go wrong, is to start pressing these mosaics in with the hands. So I press it in here and I press it in there. I've sort of missed all these ones, so these are staying high. And I go and press these ones down in the middle. Now I've pressed these ones down twice, and then they're all over the place. So really, if you just pad them down with the grout float like that, and then you just like run that over the top, flat, like that, that means that every one of them mosaic is perfectly flat on that wall. So obviously the next one, we're going to do exactly the same. So all we're going to do here is we're going to start literally right next to that one, and then we're just going to touch that on there as well, exactly the same. So all we're going to do now is just move this into a position where this is a continuous run. So this just looks exactly a 2mm, and then this is a 2mm joint, and then this is a 2mm joint, just by eye. And then once you've done that, we're just going to get with grout float again. We're just going to pad that down again. And then again, we're just going to flatten that off, and we're just going to run that gently over the top of all that like that. So that is just a total blend of all them mosaics. You can't really see where one starts and the next one finishes because it's just one continuous sheet now. And that's about it really. You just do the next one, sit on the top there, juggle it into place, pad that down. Next one goes on there, juggle into place, pad that down. You just keep doing the same thing over and over again until you've like sort of come against the walls. So cut wise, what these are just on a backing like this, which is a mesh backing. So if that was say going to here, all you do is just get a utility knife and just cut straight through that mesh, and then that would fit obviously into whatever is going to like sort of the wall be, or the floor, or the units, or whatever it is going to be. But sometimes what you have to do is you have to actually half these mosaics as well. So what you're going to do here is we're going to use like a tile cutter. So I'm just going to quickly show you how you cut like sort of a glass mosaic like this in an actual tile cutter. So we'll have a little bit of a closer look at this one. So what we're going to do now is look at closer look at how you cut these mosaics on a sheet. So like I said before, if you want to just remove like so the excess here, you just cut straight through with the utility knife, and that whole sheet excess will come off. But if I want to cut these like sort of tiles individually, I'm just going to put them in like sort of a standard tile cutter like this. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that mosaic on the cutting line of that sheet there. So all I'm going to do now is I'm just going to score straight away through that glass with a 6mm wheel. So I'm just going to score that through there, score that through there, score through that one. And then with the bar, with a quick flick, there. So you can see really here, that becomes in half, so does that sheet, and so does that like tile on the sheet. And I'll just go through the whole lot like that, breaking that with a tile cutter on there. And then again, get your utility knife, just cut through the mesh on the back there, and that's going to reduce obviously that sheet into wherever the wall needs to be cut to. So pretty much the same if it comes to a socket. So if I put that grout float there, and that was say a socket on a bench, what I would do there is I would tile up to that point of where that would be, and then what I would do is I would just like sort of cut off these strips of mosaic, and I'd piece these in separately around there. So just slice it off and then put it in. And then what I would do is for the little pieces that goes around the socket here, I would just peel each one off separately like that, and then I would just piece them in as I needed to around the actual problem of whatever it is, the corner of a window, and so forth. So now we're going to come back to the wall and have a look at sort of how you would sort of grout this. So obviously with like sort of a full tile, you would only be grouting just the outer side of that. But when you think of a mosaic, it's got like not only the 2mm grout around the outer side, it's got continuous rows of 2mm grout joints that you have to fill. So really you're going to have to get like sort of multiple like sort of kilograms more of like sort of grout for a mosaic than you would on a normal tile. So again, if you go on Google, most of the like tile companies and adhesive manufacturers, they do what's called grout calculators. So what that is, it's simply like a little program that all do free of charge, and you can just like sort of go on the first one from a company and just put like sort of a grout calculator in, and then when it comes up, it'll give you some like sort of fields to fill in. So one will be like the area, so you might put like say 5 square meters of area in. Then you might like sort of say what the joint is, so you put 2mm in there. It'll say what's the size of the tile, so therefore you put mosaic in 300 by 300mm or whatever size tile is that you're putting in there, and then it'll say what's the depth of the joint. So you know if that's a 9mm thick mosaic, you put 9mm in there. So you just feed all this like sort of information into these like sort of appropriate boxes, and you just click like sort of calculate, and it just comes up with 7.5 kilograms or 2.2 kilograms of grout required for that job. So that's a handy little tool that anybody can access. And again, it's pretty easy to grout. How you do it is just the same as normal grouting. You just load your grout on there, and then you've got to force your grout in like a rainbow. So put the grout on there and then just swirl it into like a rainbow motion, and that's going to like sort of expel any air as you go through it. So therefore when you push the grout that way, the air will be pushed out through these. So what you've got to eliminate is trapped air. So what that means is like you don't want to come this way and then come this way and then come this way and then come this way, because there'll be pockets of air getting trapped inside of that grout. And what will happen is it'll work its way out and it'll form like little holes and stuff like that. So that's not what I want to do. But grouting is another video that you can look at later date. So hopefully you found this of some benefit really of putting mosaics on. Like I said, don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you found this video helpful. The bell notification button, it just like sort of prompts you for the next sort of video that's coming out. Just helps support the channel a bit so I can like sort of produce more of these videos for you. Likewise, if anybody's got any requests or any comments, just leave comments in the box below. You might want to see another video on any particular topic, and I'll be more than helpful to do that one for you. So thanks for watching. See you on the next one.